Good afternoon from Bali, everyone. It's Hanifa Menon from hearthealthbrainhealth.com, encouraging healthy grieving and mindful actions. Today, I thought I would talk about something beyond our intellectual awareness. And I think if you've been watching my videos, you know that I talk about body, mind, intellect. And I'd love to go just beyond that because that's the space of magic. But it's actually such a beautiful space to start to understand. And I wanted to also remind you about videos that I've done about the waking cycle, the dreaming space, and then the deep sleep space, because that awareness helps us a lot in terms of understanding this information now. And I'll put links to those videos just under this video. But today, and I think I will actually even recap on that in the next video about those three states, so waking, dreaming, and deep sleep. And for now, I thought I would talk to you about a space that's something that not many people really contemplate, and I'd love for you to reflect with me. And today, if you were to think about, we can understand sleep and we understand when we wake up, and when we wake up, if we've had a good sleep, I won't even say if we've had a good sleep. When we've had deep sleep, whether it was for 5 minutes or if it was for many hours, we wake up and we recognize a different state that we're in. And in that time, we suddenly become aware of, oh, this is my body. I'm moving my body. I'm going to get up now and I'm going to, I need to get something to eat. I feel hungry and I feel kind of thirsty. So maybe I'll have a tea or a coffee or maybe some water, but I need to do this. And then suddenly we start thinking about, oh yeah, I was doing this yesterday. I wanted to finish this today. And all of that comes back. And it's interesting that when we're thinking about deep sleep, we don't think of any of those things. There's nothing that tells us that we need to eat. We don't feel hungry in deep sleep. We don't feel like we have to do anything in deep sleep. It's the closest space to what we call bliss, that space of, that if you've ever had, and I hope you have this often, but a good deep sleep, and you wake up in the morning and feel like, wow, I feel so refreshed. That was such a good sleep. We know that. What knows that? And this is something to contemplate, because again, how is it that we suddenly switch from I know nothing, because we don't think of anything, we don't know anything in that deep sleep space, to suddenly waking up and thinking, I know this is my body and I know I'm hungry, those sorts of things. So I thought I'd share this quotation here. And this one is by, I'm going to start with actually Frederick Lenz. And this is a beautiful quotation for you to reflect on. It says, beyond the subtle body. Now, subtle body, I'll just make sure I clarify this. There's the gross level of the body, that's our physical body that we're used to. The subtle body we can think of as our mental space, we can think of as our emotions, we can think of as our thoughts, our feelings, our opinions, our judgments, our awareness intellectually. So that's a subtle space. And again, that includes things like emotions. And I know why I feel this way, because this person said this to me or did this to me. So this subtle space is something that we're also becoming much more familiar with, that, oh, emotions can do that. And that I work with emotional rebalancing. And so this is the subtle space. So this quotation by Frederick Lenz that I wanted to share says, beyond the subtle body, we have something called the causal body. That's more what we are. We are a series of interconnecting awarenesses. It's like a molecular bond, DNA, a double helix, and we can change that. How interesting is that? And we can change that. What is that we're changing? And if we don't even have any awareness of that subtle space, how is it that we're changing it? And I know that I talk with clients about this, and oftentimes I will call it the unconscious space or the subconscious space, and we can affect that, and I'll talk about that in future videos too. But for now, I would like you to understand at least these three levels of, there's this gross level of the body that I know my physical state, and I know when I'm hungry, so physically I feel like I'm hungry. I can know that as a physical need or want. And I know when I have to go to the bathroom, and I can have bowel movements. Sometimes people can't after certain situations, and we know this, and yet we know that the body needs to move the bowel movements out of it, so everything that's sitting there for too long can turn toxic into the bloodstream, and you might know that. But all of those are physical functions, or even when you start walking, we know that, using my body to walk, so things like that. Then the subtle space is that space of thinking, of understanding, of reflecting, even is in that space of subtle space. And then there's this causal space. The causal space comes even before this subtle space kicks in. So you can imagine that as soon as we wake up and we start thinking, I'm hungry, or I don't feel so good, or why did that person say that to me yesterday? Any of those things, when all of those start coming up, that's a subtle space kind of taking on its function. And then the gross body starts feeling like I should get out of bed, and oh, this hurts on my body, or that hurts, or this feels really good, whatever it is. And so all of that starts coming up after that causal space. And today I would love for you to reflect on that for just 5 minutes, to think about, what is it that happens that between deep sleep and waking, what happens that we suddenly start feeling like, oh, my body, my hunger, my thirst, my bowel movements, my whatever, start thinking my work, my profession, my friends, who do I have to call, all of that, who do I have to email back, any of that. And there's this next quotation I wanted to share with you that I thought was quite lovely, and it's by Roshan Sharma, and it says, physical body is just an instrument through which you experience life. You have the awareness field along with the physical body to experience life, while the entire major functions of the physical body is performed by the subtle strings of the soul. Subtle strings of the soul. So there's foreshadowing for our next video. These subtle strings, again, are these DNA sorts of connections, and they're there, and they're of the soul. And it's a wonderful way to recognize that at the deepest level, we're at that soul level, and that soul level is really guiding us through our days. And when we start becoming more and more aware of that, we understand what some of our deepest desires, our deepest wants, our deepest fears are, and we can start shaping these and changing them too. And this is such a beautiful space to work from, yet most of our lives we're taught how to use our body, how to use our mind, and we talk about body and mind quite a bit now in normal society. But then the soul space is now something that is getting a little bit more recognition and awareness. And there are cultures and religions that have talked about the soul quite a bit. But if we were to really understand who we are, I would strongly say that we are soul energy. So today I would love for you to reflect on that, and I'm hoping that this last quotation that I'll share with you might inspire you to do so. It says, when thoughts become silent, the soul finds peace in its own source. When thoughts become silent, the soul finds peace in its own source. So you can imagine that when those thoughts are silent, that's why there's this, what's called this bliss state in that deep sleep. And that is our natural state, by the way. So today, I would love for you to reflect on this idea, concept, understanding. This is from the Upanishads. And I would love you to know that that ancient teaching has talked about the soul forever, and most ancient teachings have. Then it's a matter of how much do we want to understand it. I can tell you that it is a beautiful space to work from, and some of you know that I am going to be doing a week per month in Bali to help people connect with this space, connect with their own personal nature, connect with nature around us. And if you're interested in joining me, please do reach out to me, and I will put my email address just under this video too. For now, connect with your soul, connect with this reflection. I hope that you find it inspiring and lifting, and I hope that that inspires your steps forward. I wish you a fantastic day, and I hope you remember, transform your mind and transform your life. Have a great day or night, everyone.